Hi, my name is Melissa Bell. I live at 6382 Beaver River Road in Duluth. Again, first topic, there was administrative determination sent in for the 6464 Freedom River Lake Road gravel pit that was given. Is there a timeline for this? How long do we have to wait for an answer? That is a very important question. And again, reminding you that the verbiage in the ordinance and the applications are shall, must, will. I don't know how any government agency can get away with not abiding by the law with the strong words that you cannot refute. Secondly, site inspections have been a topic. And, there's a rumor that the planning department doesn't actually have an official way to do these things. But actually, I like facts. I like evidence. And in March 2021, there was an email from Jennifer Bourbonnais, and it talks about starting a process for inspections and reports regarding the gravel pits. And I actually found an inspection report that was done, and it had a company failing. And I asked about that, and they said, oh, it's just a fictitious, like just a training. And it was a training, apparently. So the department's training on how to do extractive use permit inspections. Why are we wasting time doing that if that's not true? This is over a year and a half ago almost. And then actually, here is your inspection checklist. It's called the Comprehensive or a Compliance Inspection Checklist Extractive Use Permit for St. Louis County, Minnesota. So it exists. So how are we getting told different things, guys? This is not okay. It really isn't. Another question, who's inspecting these gravel pits? Is it a certified person? Is it a third party? I'd prefer to see a third party right now because I really, as you know, I have a lack of trust going on. And I think it'd be good for you commissioners to go to some of these gravel pits in Freedom River Township and look yourselves. See what they look like. Are they reclaimed? Check for yourselves. Verify this information. I would love that. Also, I would like a sit-down meeting with the planning department and a few commissioners, maybe Mr. Gray also, to discuss these issues, to see where I'm reading things and they're reading things and they're so different. I think that would be very nice to have a sit-down and discuss all these things. There's a lot of questions I have, and I don't know if you guys understand everything that's going on, but I would really like a sit-down. As I talked before, we want to trust the planning department in our townships. We don't want zoning back. No one does. But, another thing I thought I'd tell you guys about was I learned the word, the planning department likes to use the word guidelines because guidelines don't have to be followed. They're just maybe you could do it or not. So your land use plan, the county's land use plan and the township's land use plan is a guideline. So why did anyone take the time to do these land use plans? Lots of time, you read them, they're huge. When it's a guideline, so actually, when it comes down to it, none of that needs to be followed. That doesn't seem okay to me. Why do we waste people's time doing it? And again, just reminding everybody that zoning, what zone you live in doesn't matter because they can change the zoning and put whatever they want if it's in their agenda. A friend of mine is actually, she's expanding her house, and she's got a building permit. Well, she has to redo her septic tank. $15,000 to $20,000 it'll be. I'm asking you, why should she do that? You guys have ignored it for businesses. Why should she have to spend that kind of money? It's for real, that just doesn't make sense to me, how we're treating people differently. So again, I would like to have a better relationship with the planning department where we can trust what's being done, that not one side is being favored, but that everyone's looked at equally. So again, that's my ask. It's been my ask. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up, Clayton Sitch.
Good morning.
Good
Nice
luck.
to see you all again. Didn't have to travel as far this time, but my name is Clayton Sitch, and I am from Friedenberg Township. and I am one of the board members. I'm just here to talk a little bit about the inspections are coming along now. We have one big one we're still waiting for. And I don't know whether you think that we're here to stop gravel pits. We are not. We're here to have gravel pits operated properly. And the way that you put the gravel pit conditional use permits together properly. There are solutions to the difficulties that we have in our township right now. I have a plan. It means that some of the neighbors of the current gravel pit that probably has the greatest difficulty can be worked with. It would probably require somebody to sit on a D8 cat for about whatever time it takes to get it all straightened out so these properties can be repurposed. I don't know what the repurpose is, but I know that our firewall is built on a repurposed land. I know we have a sliding hill, which was repurposed. So these are not hopeless situations by any means. As we move forward, and it probably won't happen in my time, but these things are going to have to be addressed. And there's no avoiding them. And there's no patching them up. As I drove from Friedenberg Township over through Hermantown, I'm 75 years old, and I remember the battles that went on in Hermantown over gravel pits. Hermantown doesn't really have much in the way of gravel pits anymore. They moved beyond that, and us as a town will move beyond that also. We have $250 million worth of taxable real estate. We are number 10 in taxes that we pay to the county. That's a big deal. And we feel that you should take a more responsible view about our town. I mean, we have people coming in from all over. I myself went out and worked my butt off for 2 years on my kitchen table to go out and get $3.9 million from the state and federal government to put fiber optics to every single home in our township. I see a clear future in our town. I know how towns die, and I know how towns live. And our town is going to live, and it's going to live well. Thank you.
Thank you, Clayton. Bruce Anderson. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Bruce Anderson, 4929 Fish Lake Road. You've heard every good reason to, and seen the documents to rescind the cup at 6464 Greenberg Lake Road. I'll repeat again, as I did in Ely, I am not against all gravel pits. I'm against gravel pits in neighborhoods. I'm not looking to put anyone out of business. I'm only looking to St. Louis County to do their job, follow their own criteria, and if they do that, then we won't have pits in neighborhoods. As you drive through Friedenberg Township, you drive from one neighborhood to another. If we're just so anxious to mine gravel and sand wherever that sand and gravel is, and we have a lot of it, we've got big fish to fry. It's like, where is it going to stop? How many pits can the township support? How many more? Is there a plan for how many more, where, how that's going to all shake down? And why is it okay to honor the cup at 6464? We haven't heard from you as to why it's okay that they mine there. We have not heard. We're waiting to hear from you. And we're being hated and accused of trying to put people out of business. And where is that coming from? We're getting tired of coming here too. We have jobs and lives. Please step up and do your jobs.
Thank you, Bruce. Ole Olson.
Thank you, folks. My name is Ole Olson. I live at 4931 Fish Lake Road with my beautiful bride Janet and our wonderful dog Jorgen. Now, where we live is about a golf ball's drive to where this proposed gravel pit is supposed to land. And I'm here to just restate what I've said every single time, is that cup is invalid. It was never valid, so it can't be appealed. There's no appeal process for it. It's an invalid permit, so get rid of it. You all know it. You all know it. Everybody in the county administration knows that that's an invalid cup, that the criteria are ignored, and they just stamp it. That's not right. So, on to the next point. LTI Holdings, Lakehead Trucking, we love them people. We do. We've lived with them for a long, long time. I worked for them. I drove a semi for them for almost 2 years, and have known Todd Kineski and Steve Kineski for a long time. I've known Todd for probably 10 years, and I've known Steve for quite longer than that. I used to meet with him and some other of us cronies from the township for coffee at least a couple times a week. We'd meet at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning and BS and tell stories and what we're all up to and what our families are up to. We love them, and that's never going to change. They may have an attitude now about us because we want to save our own way of life in a small area that has a whole lot of people living there, a whole lot of kids, a whole lot of water. This proposed pit is right next door to a lake, Friedenberg Lake, and there's 3 other lakes within a golf ball's drive or 2 away from that spot. It's just the wrong place for a pit. I went to Steve's office the day after that this all started and before we ever came in front of you folks. And you remember, if you remember the number of people that we had there, it was dozens and dozens and dozens of people that were against putting a gravel pit right there. We're okay with gravel pits, that's for sure. And you folks are absolutely okay with gravel pits. That's pretty damn obvious. But it's got to be done according to the guidelines to be approved. You can't just say, dig up that guy's backyard. You know, I can't apply for a permit. My neighbor, Bruce Anderson, if I applied for a cup, it seems to me like that you would approve it. Because Lakehead never owned that property when you approved that permit. They hadn't even purchased it yet. And that's just the beginning of the criteria not being met for it. And concerning that letter to Lakehead that was read by one of the commissioners a few meetings back, the 3rd paragraph in that letter, if you remember it, talks about them being harassed, bullied, and living in fear on their own property. What a crock. That is a contrived paragraph. I know Todd, I know Steve, I know the entire Kineski family. There is no way on God's green earth that they penned that paragraph. And there is no way that they would recite that paragraph. They are better men than that. Same goes for their father Greg and their uncle Paulie. And all of the entire Kineski family. They would be ashamed to have that in print, and to have it read in a public forum is shameful. Absolutely shameful. Whoever wrote that, it was not any Kineski that wrote that. That was either, I think, this is my opinion, by their attorneys, or a very coddling county commissioner. It's just not truth. So thanks a lot for your time. Warm it up outside when you go out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.